Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video we'll be ranking every single goal in Blue Lock Season 1. When I first started this idea, I was thinking, there's not that many goals, right? And oh my god, was I wrong. There are so many goals. 63 to be exact. We're going to be ranking them from worst to best. And if you like this video at any point, please consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot. And yeah, let's hop into it. For this first section, we have the pretty shit goals from 47 to 63. These are the goals that really were just nah. I'm gonna try to speed run through these really quickly. First three goals are all interchangeable from 61, 62, and 63. It's all three of Kuon's goals against Team W. He literally made a deal with them, and none of his goals really counted. 60th, 59th, 58th, and 57th was the four goals Team W got against Team Z. Once again, Kuon was helping them, and it was like a 12v10, and he was literally throwing, so like it doesn't count once again. In 56th place, we have Bara passing to his Nugget teammates in episode 3. I don't care about these guys scoring, neither do you, but it was pretty interesting seeing Bara actually passing. In 55th place, we have a Nagi goal. Now you might be confused. Why is Nagi's goals on here? It's literally an off-screen goal during Isagi's speech versus Bara's team in the 2v2. But, you know. In 51st, 52nd, 53rd, and 54th place, we have all four of the goals Bara gets against Nagi and Isagi. This 2v2 was one of my least favorite games in the show, so I'm kind of biased. But first of all the goals were kind of just plain. But the problem with this game is it's the one game Isagi didn't win because they played better. They won because the other team played worse. If Bara and Narihaya actually coordinated a little bit and Narihaya didn't miss open net shots, Isagi would literally be out of block. So it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when Isagi's winning because the other team's bad versus him being good. In 50th place, we have Bara's first goal versus Team Z in episode 3. It was kind of cool seeing him charge through, but other than that, it was just kind of eh. In 49th place, we have Nico passing to Oikawa. No, not that Oikawa, this Okawa. When Isagi scored against Rin's team in the first 3v3 match in Selection 2, I'm putting it down here because Rin was literally not even trying. He was just watching them, so it doesn't really count. Then the final goal of our pretty shit tier, the 47th place, is Kira's goal in episode 1. This goal was not flashy at all. It was very eh. The reason it's up here is because if this guy didn't score this, if Isagi's teammate actually made the goal and this guy didn't counter and score, Isagi would have never really had the same motivation to block and he wouldn't have turned out the way he did. So you gotta give him some credit. All right, we've made it to the Met tier. These are the goals that they weren't insane, but they had some pizzazz to them. So that's why they're above the pretty shit goals. Starting off at the bottom, we have 44, 45th, 46th place. All once again, Bara throwing. Bara refusing to pass 3 separate times made the other team score. The goals themselves were decent, but the fact that they were set up by Bara throwing makes it kind of annoying. In 43rd place, we have Batra passing to Rin against the top 5 in episode 23. The shot was cool, but that's about it. We have Isagi and Nagi in the 2v2 against Bara and Narihaya. Isagi basically wants to learn how to fight without relying on Nagi, but he accidentally passes to Nagi off instinct, who gets a cool touch on the ball and scores against Bara. Next, we have the first time Zentetsu actually showed his acceleration for the first time. It was pretty cool seeing someone just outspeed Shigri like that, and the goal itself was just pretty decent. We have when Isagi's team was fighting Rin's team in episode 13. Aryu uses his long legs to shoot in between Isagi's legs to score on him. I put it up here just because I like Aryu and I think the goal is cool. Next, we see Ryo's true ability to synergize any team. He sets up a passing triangle between himself, Chigri, and Kunigami to score against Nagi, Isagi, and Bara in episode 13. Isagi thought he had everyone outsmarted, and then Rin is like, yeah, I see what you see, pussy, and steals the ball and scores. In the 37th spot, we see the first time Isagi really uses his spatial awareness. He's about to take the shot, and he does a perfect pass to Kunigami, who scores to help him get at least 1 point. In 36th place, we have Batra passing to Nagi, who back heels it past Aryu to score against Rin's team in episode 13. Cool shot, but it is the final shot of the Met here. Now we're going to get into the really good shots. Starting it off with our first really good shot in 35th place, we have Nagi versus Baro in episode 14. Nagi figures out how to get it past Baro. Baro charges at Nagi. Nagi goes backwards. Nagi does a crazy juke to get 2 insane touches to get past Baro, and he's like, I am the god of this field. When all hope is lost, people look towards a hero, and not just any hero, a soccer superhero. That's what Kunigami had become in this episode. They're down bad against Team V, and what does he do? He hits a cross mapper to surpass his limits. In the same match, we have Chiguri's awakening against Zentetsu. He realizes that Zentetsu is actually faster only initially, but once their top speeds are both reached, Chiguri has the upper hand. So he passes himself further ahead and eventually uses this knowledge to pass Zentetsu and get this goal. In 32nd place, we have the first goal Isagi's team gets against Rin's team in the 4v4 at the end of the show in episode 20. It was cool and it set the tone for a much closer and competitive game than the first time they met. Speaking of a competitive game, in 31st place, we have Rin pretty much saying, no, it's not going to be competitive. We're in a penalty shot. Cross map in episode 21. Next, we have when Batra gives a crazy high pass to Aryu, who jumping heads it in episode 20. I love Aryu. He's just fun to watch. 29 was kind of wild. Isagi read that Baro's dumbass wouldn't pass the ball, so he positioned himself for the rebound, and once he was was there, he passed to Nagi, who scored. In 28th place, we have Rin scoring straight away from the half-court field in episode 13. And then in 27, we have Rin scoring a corner kick goal in episode 13. These episodes were just used to demonstrate how OP Rin was as a character. When all hope felt lost, the GOAT Gagamaru came in, diving with all of his might to hit this ball in. This goal was just crazy, dude. In episode 25, we see Rin go into a serious mode for the first time, uses his puppeteering ability to pull the full potential of all of his teammates out to get Bachru to score. In 24th place, we see the World 5 versus our Blue Lock players, and they just get absolutely dominated. It was just pretty cool to see how OP they were. In 23rd place, Chigiri realizes he needs to evolve. He realizes that when he grabs the ball, it slows down his running time, so he tries to figure out a way to hit the ball without slowing down. Once he does that, he destroys Nagi, and he gets the first really cool goal against Isagi's team. In episode 22, we see this one pro absolutely like activate his anime protagonist aura around him and just absolutely molest Ren.
That's no good. If you open your legs that easily, people are gonna think you're a loose guy.
After Nagi's first goal, you're thinking, okay, this might be a fluke. And then right after, he hits a fucking bicycle, and you're like, all right, never mind, this dude's just different. In episode 15, Isagi wants to finally be able to fight one of these geniuses one-on-one. He steals Naruharu's play to get right behind Baro in his blind spot and score on him to win the 2v2. Looked amazing, felt amazing, great shot. In episode 13, when they were versing the top 3, when Takamitsu went Giga Cycle for the first time, that was just insane to watch. I don't know why. Every time I rewatch this goal, it just is so badass the way he's just like, oh, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. It was just a very interesting character choice that was pretty fun. When we first are introduced to Nagi, he's built up as this OPS character, and we're like, all right, let's see how strong he is. First time he jump sketched the ball, we're like, oh. The main characters are so cooked. When Isagi looks over at Nagi, he sees almost infinite scoring potential. When he eventually passes it to Nagi, Nagi does one of the most disgusting touches to get past Chigiri I've ever seen in Scrolls on him. This was literally my honest reaction to it.
He flips it downfield, and McLaurin.
In episode 24, we see Loki with the ball for the first time. At this point in the story, it was well established that Chigiri was the fastest. And then we have Loki come in and just absolutely blitz anything Chigiri could ever do. It was one of the most jaw-dropping scenes I've ever watched. Dude just actually fucking no-diffed all of them in speed. Isagi bitched out Baro so hard and was in such a good spot that he literally forced a pass out of Baro. This scene was just disgusting for that reason alone. Now, in 14th place, we have an insane goal. Chigiri has the ball. He's dribbling. He hits it ahead. Nagi reads that Chigiri would hit it ahead, but Isagi reads it better. Isagi gets in the way, blocks Nagi, passes it back to Chigiri. Chigiri shoots the ball, misses, goes into Gagamaru for the rebound. He shoots again. Reo does a crazy jumping kick to block it, and it lands right into Kunigami, who scores. And that's an insane part. The reason why this goal is so high is because Isagi has the audacity to say, just like I envisioned it, there's no shot he was able to think that far ahead. That was just disgusting. If he actually was able to think that far ahead, that's crazy. We are now at our final goal in the really good tier, our 13th place goal. Reo is stressed, feeling like he's gonna lose. Nagi sees that and he's like, all right, it's time to try. When you first see that, you're like, oh no, this guy wasn't even trying the whole time. He starts running on the field at like Mach 5. When you see this dude running at you, you're like, oh my god, my cheeks are about to be spread. Dude has one of the most disgusting catches and almost a 90-degree shot and flings his whole body around to score. When I saw this, I was like, okay, Nagi is not human. This guy is like a deity from the heavens who just happened to be on Reo's team, bro. At this point in the story, I thought the main characters were absolutely cooked. Alrighty guys, we are finally in the legendary tier of Blue Lock. These are the 12 goals that I think are just legendary in one way or another. In 12th place, we have episode 17, when Isagi uses Baro as bait to get himself the goal. The goal itself wasn't that special. The reason why it was such a good goal is after he said, don't get in our way, retard. It's such an iconic manga panel, I just had to put it up here. In 11th place, we have Nagi destroying the field that Ren and Isagi had planned. The ball gets to Nagi and he does something that I can literally rewatch 100 times and still don't even fully understand what buttons he clicked to activate this combo. He kicked it off of Ren, fake shooting, who falls to the floor and scores. And this is a Ren at this point in the story who seems all-powerful. In 10th place, we have the first goal Rin scores against Isagi's team in the 4v4 in episode 20. This goal, Rin absolutely made mincemeat of all of them, dribbling through them. The reason I have it so high on my list is when Rin gets the ball, we hear his soundtrack for the first time. And oh my god, it sounds like boss music. Just take a listen to this.
やばいその射程はリンのエリアナギを誘って突っ込ませたんだ リンの方
Can you imagine Isagi and Nagi and all of them on the field to hear that music start playing when he gets the ball? Bro, they're cooked. In 9th place, Isagi and Rin are on a standstill. Isagi's like, damn, I'm about to lose the ball. I can't beat this guy. When out of nowhere, King Baro comes to steal it from Isagi. It works on Rin because something like that would never be in his playbook. And with the most over-the-top music and over-the-top shot he scores, the reason why it's behind the list is the pose he hits after goes so disgusting. In 8th place, we have the most legendary team tear I've ever seen. Team Z is down 3-0 against Nagi's team, and if they lose this game, they lose everything and they're kicked out of Blue Lock. Everyone feels defeated. Everyone has no motivation. They need a hero to step up, and who better than Bachira? Him being down this much gets him excited and pushes him past his limits. He dribbles past the entire team by himself to score the goal. By him doing that, it motivates everyone to play better, and they eventually win the game in the end. If he didn't have this tear and Giga motivate everyone, they're actually all out of Blue Lock. Next, we have Isagi eliminating Kira in episode 1. Yes, I know this technically isn't a goal, but the goal was to survive, and the goal was Kira's face, so I'm counting it. Also, just the setup, the music, the animation, everything in this was so good. I gotta put it up here. It was one of my favorite scenes in this show. The way he's like, I gotta go for someone stronger. Bachira does these crazy ninja moves trying to hit Kira. Does this backflip pass to Isagi. And Isagi just goes boom right into his face. It was just a perfect way to set up the show. In 6th place, we have a lot of people's personal favorite goal of the show, and I honestly don't blame them. This is one of my personal favorites. Isagi reads that Nico would pass instead of taking the shot himself. He reads where the pass is going to land, grabs it, steals it, passes it to Kunigami. Kunigami passes it downfield to Bachira. Bachira does some insane dribbles to get through some nuggets. Bachira passes it cross map. Gagamaru goes for the dive trying to score it. He misses. Everyone's like, oh my god, he missed. And Bachira's like, no, I was aiming beyond. And Isagi, with one of the best soundtracks, has one of the most iconic lines in the entire show. Oh! It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. In 5th place, we have a Chigiri goal. My boy Chigiri's made it up here. You probably already know what it's going to be. The one in episode 7. He finally got over being emo with his leg issues. Finally decides, fuck it. If I'm going out, I'm going all out. Brings out his weapon for the first time, which is ultra speed. This solo dribble was one of the most insane things I've ever seen. It also helped he had one of the best guitar soundtracks I've ever heard. My man was passing 50 feet ahead to himself. That was like unheard of until this point. This goal was just absolutely legendary. It also countered Kuon's throwing tactics, so fuck him. Good job, Chigiri. Now, throughout Blue Lock, we've seen some legendary team dares, but this one is like no others. Bachira is scared of being left behind from Isagi and Rin, and that fear causes him to reawaken. This reawakening makes him absolutely go on a rampage, dribbling past everyone. But the reason why I have it so high also is the soundtrack for this scene. Oh my god, that soundtrack is so good. He makes it to the end of the goal, we think it's game, and Isagi actually reads it. He reads it. We were like, when that cliffhanger happened, I was like, oh my god, that's insane. Next episode, it opens with Lady Luck was not on Isagi's side. Tragically, cruelly, the ball landed at Rin's feet, and Rin scored. We are now in the top 3, folks. The 3rd best goal in the show is honestly, after a lot of thought, my personal favorite goal. Baro is being left behind by Isagi to such an extent. He's literally shattering. He's being bitched out, forcing to pass. And at the last point of the game, he's about to pass to Isagi. And right before he's about to do it, he sees his future if he does it. Most animes would have him pass the ball here and accept the loss. But Baro thought about it, and he thought he refuses to live in a future like that. So if Isagi's going to be the hero of the field, then he's just going to have to be the villain that devours him. This, honest to God, this dribble, when he went behind Isagi to hide him, the thunder sound effects they were using when he was appearing, it was just honestly my favorite goal in the show. Now, the 2nd place goal, I honestly expected it to be the number 1 goal when I was initially making this list. This goal was my favorite for a long time. Isagi is currently down 3-4 against Rin's team in the 4v4. Isagi sets up a play, he's about to get the ball, and Rin reads it. Isagi starts molding, he's like, I'm not good enough to beat this guy. It's cutting to black. At this point, you're like, all right, it's over. He catches the ball because he predicted Rin would be there, and he does a backwards heel shot. Oh my God. This was, honest to God, for the majority of my time I've watched Blue Lock, my favorite shot. All right, and after rewatching it, the number 1 goal in Blue Lock, and I don't even think it's close. The score is tied. Team V versus Team Z. 3 minutes left. If Team Z tie here, they're out. All the players are gone. But the ball is in Nagi's hands. At this point, if Nagi has the ball, they're guaranteed a point. He's about to score. Everything's looking dark. The show's about to end. And then Kuon, the GOAT, comes in and tackles him. This scene was fucking insane. The redemption for Kuon went so crazy. But even though he tackles them, they still get a penalty kick. Rayo has the penalty kick, and Rayo, being the egoist he is, goes for it. The goalie read he would be an egoist, and he barely saves it. He rebounds it, but oh no, Zentetsu's there. Zentetsu takes the shot. Raichi, the GOAT, comes flying in and blocks him with his leg. It's fucking insane. But then it lands into Nagi, and at this point you're like, guys, come on, please just get it out of the fucking goal box. Nagi takes the shot, and Kagamaru, the GOAT, kicks it straight up against the crossbar to save it. Everyone's like, oh, 3 near-death experiences back to back to back. Isagi gets the ball, passes it to Bachira. Bachira dribbles through them, passes back to Isagi. Isagi passes to Chigiri. Chigiri runs, passes back to Isagi. Isagi passes back to Kunigami. But oh no, Zentetsu comes out of nowhere and knocks it out of bounds. It would last touch Kunigami. So if this goes out of bounds, it's game over. It's about to go to bounds, and then Giga Chad Raichi comes in again with his ultimate stamina, saves it, passes to Bachira. Bachira passes to Isagi for the final shot. We're thinking this is the moment where protagonist soars into the heavens. Nagi appears. Isagi's like, what the fuck? If I stop for even half a second, Nagi's gonna block it and we're done. Isagi surpasses his limits, does a direct shot. I want to win with my goal. Goal! Oh my god, dude, this was the best goal in all of Blue Lock. Nothing even comes close to it. If the U20 match can pull anything like this, it's gonna be a great arc. So yeah, if you made it this far, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments why I'm wrong and why my opinions are bad. Tell me what you would have put in your top 5, whatever. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.